Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and this is a weekly show where advertisers watch other advertisers' ads and discuss what makes them good and bad. And this week, joined by some very special guests. Can they please introduce themselves?
Sure. Hey, I'm Kenny Edwards. I'm the head of the Global Creative Lab at TikTok.
I am Heather Stuckey, and I am the head of Global Strategic Partnerships at Mars, Inc.
David Amadeo, I'm the Deputy Head of Digital and Innovation at Channel 4.
And hello everyone, I'm Jack, and I am the Marketing Director for KFC UK and Ireland.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Let's watch this ad that's been recently released by Valentino and Lady Gaga.
When I was young, I prayed for lightning. My mother said it would come and find me. Yeah, I said, well, my eyes fell up at this, but there was nothing there. No, nothing. I heard one sign from above. I heard one sign from above. Then the signal split into the sound created stars like me and you. Before there was love, there was silence. I heard one sign, and it killed my heart out of sight.
My voice, my strength. Voce Viva, the new fragrance, Valentino.
What have we got here as an advert? Is this a contemporary work of art, or is this just a fairly unimaginative use of a very famous person who's been paid a lot of money to say nice things about the brand? What did you think when you first saw this ad?
It had all the ingredients of something I would love, but it just didn't. I just didn't. Obviously, I love Lady Gaga. I thought it was a great song. I think it fell a little bit flat for me.
A little refreshing because you have a real creative talent in Lady Gaga being showcased, right? And the song is actually a really beautiful song. So, underlied it was a perfume ad, but it actually spoke on another level in terms of cultural diversity.
But I think the first thing that struck me is that L'Oreal Luxe have done a fantastic job to get Lady Gaga to do something commercial like this. I mean, that can't have been easy. You want to know a bit more about the deal that was struck, how much she was paid. In terms of the actual ad itself, I mean, it's beautifully crafted, but very slick and sort of aspirational piece from Valentino.
I mean, I do, I like the femininity of it. I think it feels quite strong. I think I like the fact that it's not like overtly sexualized. And of course, Gaga's great. That is kind of the issue. I'm not convinced I'm going to remember who it was for, anything about it other than it being the Lady Gaga perfume. So outside of that, I think it could have probably been anyone. It wasn't particularly memorable or distinctive.
So Heather, what would have made this better?
I think to Jack's point, the brand itself was such an afterthought. I think it probably went a little bit too far into not creating that connection back to the product. How does this relate back to the product that they're actually trying to sell?
And what's your view of it, Kenny, from a TikTok perspective? What would you be saying to Valentino here about how to make it work for the platform?
I think one of the standout elements of this ad is it's centered around music and sound. So what I would say, to the brand, Valentino, is take full advantage of that, on our platform. Like, how could we layer in some audience engagement? Like, what are their thoughts, or what is the meaning behind some of the lyrics of the songs? How can the audience take part in retelling the story or being a part of that storytelling or unpacking it?
And how about you, David? You got a background in innovation and also fragrance. Like, what are the innovation opportunities here? What are the builds here that we could do with an innovation hat on?
I mean, on Vogue platforms, there's an opportunity to build a kind of, whether it's a click to buy, or be nice to see if they've done additional content. I'm sure people are interested in Lady Gaga or anything she's got to say, and especially if she's singing as well. So, introducing people to kind of click through and find out a bit more of that on other platforms, I think would be a smart thing to do.
And Jack, we've seen celebrity endorsement in the the fast food business, you know, with your KFC hat on, how do you look at this? Do you think, oh, that's super easy and we have to work much harder, or is there lessons to be learned for you guys here as well?
You know, not wanting to do myself out of the possibility of ever getting a job working on a luxury brand, I don't really know, you know, a huge amount about the category and advertising within it, but I think there has to be something strange in the works, and actually doing something strange that stands out, I think you can put ahead of the message. If I think about Johnny Depp digging a hole in a desert for no reason, seemingly, for Sauvage, like, the strangeness of that just kind of makes it memorable. And here it just feels, although it's beautiful and it's feminine and there's some power to it, it just actually feels a bit pedestrian.
And Heather, if you, I think it sort of mirrors your point at the start. Is there a lack of a story here? And Jack's point about Johnny Depp digging a hole in the desert, it implies a story, implies a narrative. God knows what it is. Is there a huge gap here where there should have been a story?
I think if you just watch the ad itself, it does require the user to do a little bit more digging to understand what the context of the song and where she is and why she's doing what she's doing to get that message. So it isn't something that in a 60-second ad, I think that's probably the substance that we're missing.
It almost seems that there's a habit of brands to look at their campaign in its entirety and think, well, this adds up, this works, we're covering all bases here. Do brands need to be careful of that? Have they just got to think, look at everything in isolation? Or is that kind of beautiful, cohesive whole actually really important to a success of a campaign?
I think you do have to have almost like a centerpiece that is your launch piece. But then it's really important to then have lots of other kind of touch points throughout your media plan that build your frequency and make sure that when people see those other points that they have a reference point to that centerpiece, I think.
So unfortunately, we've run out of time now. So what I'd like you all to do is just to give a concise overview of what you think marketers can learn from this ad and the discussion that we've had. So Kenny, we'll start with you.
I think this is a great example of such a wonderful talent being used the right way. I think to build on it is how could you activate the community that comes with that talent? Like, she's got amazing followers. How could that have been unlocked? And that's something we always look at TikTok, is what is the community saying, or what are the followers kind of saying around these creators?
I love the fact that that Gaga is used for her voice and for where her talent really and truly lies in this. But I just think that there's a missed opportunity to do more with her and to, fundamentally, and to integrate the brand into the storytelling more effectively.
I agree with what Jack said a bit. It's a really crude term, but sweat your asset if you can. And if you have a fantastic talent like Lady Gaga, then push that as far as you can. But also, I think, another key learning is, using a fantastically diverse cast as well. I think it's really important. I think they've executed that really well.
I think what we've all uncovered is there was a lot going on in the ad. So how do we simplify it so that there's one thing coming through, and how do we weave in the product to more of those overarching larger messages? Brilliant.
Guys, thank you so much for joining Advertisers Watching Ads.
I would say that my singing voice is an expression of my entire body as it connects to all of humanity. When I sing, I think about the world, I think about people. I don't just think about the song. I do think about the story that I want to tell, and I always try to find the piece of it that's true. When you become famous, your voice can sometimes look like an image that's projected to society, when actually my voice is what I say. My voice is what I mean. My voice is what I stand for. Honestly, the voice that inspired me the most in my personal life was the voices of women. I'm really, really inspired by women. And this idea that a voice can be alive and that it can be strong. This to me is at the center of what this fragrance is all about. And some people say it's perfume, but if you put a good intention behind something, it can be much more than a material thing. It can be a message to the world. And I know that that's what Valentino really wants.